Welcome into your Tiny Week Ahead reading. I am T from Tiny Cheeks Tarot, coming in to break down the cards for your week. So pick a card or cards, pick a charm or charms, whichever resonates with you, and I will see you in your pile. Welcome in pile one. Let's get into your cards for this week. So you have the shark's tooth as the charm that you chose. And this charm is related to the specific things that'll happen this week. So we're going to put that aside and get into that more in a second. The energy of your week is fun, flamingo. So with the energy of the week, we're using the sign of the times oracle. I just got this deck, so we're going to use the book to get into what the card means. But first, I will get into my first thoughts, intuitive feelings about it. So in terms of the energy for your week with flamingo and fun, it's definitely giving brightness and lightness. Flamingos, just off the bat, to me are like funny looking animals, but they're kind of cute. They stand out. They're different than every other bird in the sense that like they don't fly, right? I feel like they're flightless. If I'm wrong about that, y'all let me know. I'll look into it. But so they're just giving their own individuality, right? They're like quirky, they're different. So I feel like part of this week you will be able to flaunt your differences or like embrace the quirky sides of you. Part of the fun you might have this week and the energy of the week that it's bringing may be because you're doing more things that are aligned with what you actually like to do or things that you find fun regardless of what others find fun. You may be going out by yourself and doing things that seem fun, or like, exciting to you. So that is part of the energy that I get from the flamingo. You also have, they're together, um, but I feel like they're kind of individual birds. I don't think they have like flocks or packs or whatever. So this week you may be having more so one-off conversations or like one-off experiences with people, especially because we were talking about the fun. So that may be part of the energy for this week. But your energy for this week just feels very light. It feels fresh. It feels bright. It feels like there are either ways in which the whole week will feel really fun and light and loving, or that there are experiences that you have this week that will keep you like lifted throughout the week. You know what I mean? It'll carry you through the week, or it'll carry you to that experience that you're having this weekend or something like that. So let me see what the book says about the flamingo card. Okay. When flamingo appears, it's time to get excited. You don't have to live in tropical climates to see this powerful symbol, as they show up often in front yards and decor. The vibrant colors and quirky appearance of the flamingo can't help but draw attention and curiosity. Let your guard down and incorporate more fun activities into your routine, especially if you're somebody who, I know that summer is over. We're getting into like more daily routines of it. If you would listen to our September monthly reading, please go listen to it if you haven't. Our collective reading, we talk a lot about the stuff we got going on this month, the motion in the month, the daily habits and things that are changing and moving. And so like I feel like this is very reflective of that. So definitely go listen to that. I'll put the link below. Okay. Where were we? This card can indicate an underlying feeling of excitement for things to come, and we talk about that as well. But there could be a need to embrace a sense of not quite knowing what it is. Expect the best. You may intuitively feel like there is a reason to celebrate or feel you are anxiously awaiting good news. Amazing things are on the horizon here, and there is no shame in embracing it. Exciting new experiences and opportunities could present themselves to you. You're being admired and potentially attracting partnership you've been waiting for. Anticipate fun and exciting times. Make time for fun, additional meetings. Make time for fun, exciting partnerships ahead, plan vacations. People are attracted to you. So I like that there's also that love aspect that comes into it. I like that a lot of the things that we talk about in our September collective reading come into this. The motion, the things they're doing, the exciting things looking into the future ahead, the love aspect that comes in, we talked a little bit about this month too. So that is the energy I'm getting for your week. Initially, let's pull one more card from this deck and see if there's any more energy that we got to get into. Okay, let's see if we can get one more card. Okay. Power lines, energy. This is a gorgeous card. Energy. Okay, so again, there's a lot of movement in your week, right? There's a lot of um electricity, like there's a lot building up or there's a lot coming out. There's a lot that you may be doing this week, a lot of motion, like I talked about. We talk about this a lot in this monthly reading, so again, listen to that. But let's get into what she says. Also, it's even though you have the power lines, you have this like kind of sedated sky in the colors in the background, so it's feeling like even though you might have a lot going on, a lot of excitement this week, make sure that you're taking time to rest. Make sure you're taking time to regroup, or like come back into yourself, into your thoughts, and slow things down a little bit when you need to. Okay. Let's see. Power lines. Energy constantly flows through power lines and provides a vital resource that is easy to take for granted. It's just there. Think of your energy in the same way as it runs through your body. It is important to take note of how you feel and where you are energetically. Do you feel tired, overactive? This could be a sign of imbalance and could lead easily to burnout and a loss of your own power. On the other hand, proper rest and energy work can balance and recharge you. This card is also a reminder that your energy is ever present, that energy is ever present and connects us all. Surround yourself with those who complement and reciprocate your energy. And that partnership that we talked about here, this may be part of what this is talking about as well. You may also be a source of empowerment for others, which can lead to fulfilling connections. Energy is tricky, so what you may be feeling, yeah, may not be your own. It's important to check in with yourself to be able to make this distinction. Follow the flow as it crisscrosses your body like power lines through a city block or on a country road. I know I read that really terribly, y'all. I apologize. I'm just gonna leave this here so y'all can screen shoot or pause so you can read, because I don't know. Additional meanings: beware of burnout. Look into energy healing, mood swings, and energy boost. One of the things that just talked about was making sure that, well, seeing if you're feeling your energy or other people's energy. One of the things I talk about a lot, if you follow me on TikTok or you follow me on IG, especially on IG, I talk about bubbling up your energy a lot, right? So one of the things that I talk to my clients about in readings and on my videos is when you're out in the world, if you're an empath, if you're somebody who's sensitive, you're like a sponge. You're taking in everything that's around you, everybody's energy, whatever they're feeling, whatever's going on in the collective, things like that. So it's really important for you to bubble up your energy or armor yourself energetically, right? And there's different ways for you to do it, but one of the ways I think that it's easiest is to envision a bubble around you. So like, yes, you are a bubble boy, okay? And you're going to envision that there is a bubble around you. Your bubble cannot be popped. Your bubble could feel out. Like if you wanted to put your hand out, you could like, touch things, but you're still inside the bubble, right? And so in that sense, it gives you a casing, it gives you a protection so that you can start to understand what's your energy and what's the energy outside of you, what you're actually feeling versus what you're taking on, and what you can just start to feel once you're bubbled, start to feel almost like you're looking into the feeling as opposed to feeling that person's feeling and then having to decipher whose fucking feelings we're feeling right now. Okay. So if you want to know more about that, put in it, blah, blah. So if you want to know more about that, let me know in the comments. I will definitely talk about that. I can do a separate video about it, just talking about the energy itself, ways in which we can armor up energetically, how I do it, different colors you can use, things like that. So these are the cards we get for pile one for the energy of your week. We're going to get a few charms and a few cards for specific things that may happen this week. We're going to pull some charms to get more specific things that may happen this week, but starting with your shark's tooth. So The shark's tooth charm, in terms of specific things that may happen this week, it feels like we're sinking our teeth into things, right? So which would mean to me that we're starting new things, or we have a lot of things going on in terms of like the everyday things that you have to do, things that you may have to do at work, your schedule, like I said, projects that you might be starting, big projects that you might be starting, big goals that you might be starting. All of this is stuff that we talk about in the collective reading as well. So like I said, definitely check that out. The tooth also could be about getting bitten, right? So be careful about being bitten this week. Like, there's ways in which it felt, I just got this flash of like putting your hand in somewhere. I know you wouldn't put your hand in somewhere and get bit by a shark, but it feels like putting your hand in somewhere, not knowing what you're putting your hand into and getting a bit, right? So just be careful of the things that you're getting into this week. Make sure you have all the information for the things that you're getting into this week. Don't do anything sideways, like try to take advantage of people, or try to do don't do anything that would put somebody else out to put you at an advantage, you know what I mean? Like a shark type move kind of thing, if it's in a fucked up way, because it's going to backfire on you. It feels like biting you in the ass, right? And also, if there's a way in which you're in competition or something this week, then it's like giving shark energy, right? Then you need to like sink your teeth into some shit. Then you may need to like find the right time to attack in a specific way. But that's very specific to a very specific situations, right? So let's get a few more charms in terms of specific things that may happen, and then I may pull some cards. Y'all know the charms are a little loud. Okay. We have the steering wheel. We have this button, which to me is giving like a dome world energy. We have the boat steering wheel. And we have a star. Now just gonna pull a few more cards, or pull a few cards, I should say. See if there's anything else specifically we got going on this week. Okay. Okay, so starting with our charms, we have the star. So specific things that may happen this week, because you have a lot going on, because you're having fun, you may be in the spotlight, right? You may be out, you may be wanting to be seen, you may just happen to be seen, you may be seeing people that you haven't seen in a while, you may be seeing people may be seeing you in a new light. So maybe this is like the first time you've gone out in a while and people haven't seen you, or maybe you've changed your appearance in some way, and people are like, oh my gosh, look at you, da 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 da. Or you are just in a space of receiving and accepting recognition, so you're recognizing or realizing more that you do take the spotlight when you're out, or that people do are really attracted to you, or that people really do have fun with you, you know? And it feels like you're beaming and shining and people are recognizing that. So that might be something specific that happens this week. Pay attention to compliments, pay attention to your reaction to compliments. If that's something that comes up this week, it may be that you're realizing that with all this attention that you're getting, you may have a little bit of issue with that, or that may be something that comes up for you that you may want to look into, or work on, or things like that. So that's what I feel like with the star. Then we have the ship wheel, the steering wheel. And again, it feels like we have a lot going on this week with the power lines and the motion in that, and then the fun. And so it feels like you are the captain of your ship this week. What you decide is what happens. You may have specific instances where people are like, what do you want to do? Or how should we do this? And you get to be the leader. You get to make the decisions. You get to decide how we go from here to there, how we get into here, or whatever it is, right? And so within that energy, it's really important for you to know what that looks like, or like, what kind of leader you want to be, or really to be confident with yourself and take a hold of this shit, so that you can be an efficient leader and that you can be somebody that people want to get behind, right? Again, we have the motion energy that comes in with the ship. Oops, sorry, y'all. it already wants to move. Okay. We have the motion energy that comes in with the ship. And we talked already about having a lot to do this week or having a busy schedule or wanting to do a lot of things. So that's something that may come up. You may have busy days or just busy week in general. And so yeah, I feel like this is what comes up with me with the steering. And again, there may be like people that you're leading or like giving advice to this week as well with this. And then we have the button. And this button to me, it's funny because it used to be a little bit more like metallic. And so it was giving world energy, but right now it just feels like the unknown, right? It's black, it's round, so it's like there's no end in a sense, and it just feels like the unknown. So like there may be things this week where we don't have exact answers to whatever is going to happen, even especially if we're in the ship leadership position where we have to make decisions on things. So it's like make decisions with the best information that you have. If there are variables or things that you do not know, make decisions with what you have, but based on what could happen and or with the knowing that things could change. Okay. If there are, it feels like there's also specific ways in which you may you may not know what's going to happen. Like it's just like I got a lot of shit to do, I don't know how this is going to play out. And that's not necessarily just with the projects, but just like with your days or just in general. And so the darkness of it is also giving me like go with the flow, because you don't know. Like there may be aspects of this week where shit just you just don't know. Like I don't know what's going to happen with this, I don't know, you know. It's like put the best intentions that you can out into the universe, but it's like dropping it into a well, you know what I mean, that you don't hear the ending of, you know, you just like drop it into the abyss, and what happens, and you flow with whatever is happening, if that makes sense. So this is kind of what I get specifically from the charms. And then getting into the cards that we have spiritual career, and there's a little bit of glare, spiritual career, and we have communication. So, specific things that may happen this week. There may be people who either find a position this week, whether you get hired in that position, whether you find what you're looking, something that you're like, this is really good, or you get a call back from something that you really are aligned with. It's not just something that's good money wise, it's something that like you like to do or is pushing you further into figuring out what you like to do or is aligned with where you're trying to go. Like it's bigger than just money, you know what I mean? It's giving purpose or alignment or, you know, like divinely guided positions, you know. This also spiritual career may have to do with your job that you're in. If you're not finding something new, it may just feel like this week things are really aligning for you, people are listening to you, or you're getting the recognition that you deserve, or the things that you have to do are just moving along quickly, and you're having just like a really easy time with work this week, or you're feeling like things are that you've been wanting to happen are just coming together. So it also could just give a good energy to what you're doing in general, even if it doesn't necessarily feel like it's divinely guided or aligned where you are right now, right? Also within this, there may be things this week that come up that show you what you may want to do, right? There may be like a book that you're reading that gives you an idea about a job that you had never heard of before. You meet somebody that's doing a job that you've been wanting to do, and they tell you how much easier it is to get into it than you thought it is, or something like that. So like keep your eyes peeled for things like that as well. Then we have the communication card. And with the communication card, it's definitely imperative this week specifically that we are being mindful of the things that we're saying with the leadership that we had with the anchor, that we're being specific about the things that we want, what we don't want. Like my parent just said, how do you want it? How do you feel? You know, like, and so just being communicative about where we are with things, how we feel, what we think, what we want, asking other people, especially if we're being a good leader, all of the questions that I just named, being able to bounce ideas off and not being so, you know, barky if you're in a leadership position or in positions of work, so that we can have a smoother, easier time with things. So I feel like this is also part of the specific things that may come up this week. We also may have big conversations that come up this week, or very important conversations that come up this week, or people may bring up to us instances or important, not necessarily advice, but like information about how we communicate with others, or we may have important indicators of how we communicate with ourselves that come up this week. Okay, so this is the specifics of what I got for this week. We're going to end your reading with an Earthcraft card so that we can get a ritual for this week. I feel like I just wanted to add a little bit of magic in for the beginning of the month. And so, because the Earthcraft Oracle has a spell or like a magic working with each card, I just wanted to see what we would get. So, let's pull a card and see what your working for the week is. So we have Spirit of the South. It's definitely got some fire energy. There may be some release in there or some initiation to bring in newness. Let's see what the book has to say. So, our ritual for the week for pile 1, honoring the Spirit of the South. Light a red candle, which symbolizes and amplifies the fire spirit. Kneel in front of the candle while facing south and hold your hands on either side of the flame with your palms inward. Whisper to the flame, I am present for your guidance, dear Spirit of the South. Take a moment to meditate on the message brought to you by the Spirit of the South. Thank the Spirit of the South for showing up and for giving her guidance. I added a few words there. And this card, the Spirit of the South, is initiated or connected to the element of fire and initiates you in the energy of expansion, radiance, action, excitement, and rapid change. So that is a little bit about the card. That is your ritual for the week. We're bringing in that like spontaneous energy. We're bringing in that movement energy. We're bringing in that initiation, like I talked about. We're ready for the fun and the new and the flame, right? Like the motivation, the fire, the passion. So I feel like this goes with all the cards that we had, all the charms that we had for this week. Let me know what y'all think about this reading. Let me know if you do the ritual, how it goes for you. If you are in another pile, I will see you there. And if not, thank you so much for reading with me. I will see y'all in the next reading. Welcome in pile 2 to your week ahead reading. Let's get into your cards. So the charm that you have is the Leo charm, but the Leo charm specifically is related to the specific things that will happen this week. So we're going to put that one aside and get into your energy for this week. So your energy for this week is bees, community. I'm using the Sign of the Times Oracle, and I just got this deck. So we're going to use the book to get into what the card means, but I'm going to give you a little bit of what I think. So the energy of this week, it definitely feels like with the community and the coffee card, it definitely feels a little bit intimate. It feels like you're going to either be reconnecting with people this week or being in community with people in like an intimate space. It's giving coffee house vibes. So like even when you have a show at a coffee house, it's still not that many people, you know what I mean? So it may be intimate events. It may be the energy of like getting to know people or getting back in spaces with people, something like that. We have the coffee cup. So the energy this week may be that you are kind of like either feeling run down and you need more energy, or you're kind of running off fumes. And or the opposite side of that could be like when you're over caffeinated and you're kind of just like hyped up. You know what I mean? It doesn't even necessarily mean that like we or pile 1 had a lot going on this week, and it doesn't even feel like that to me. It just feels like your energy may be like this. Either your energy is very very high, or you're in need of coffee this week, like your energy is kind of dragging and you need reinforcement. So let's see what the energy of this week is in terms of bees in the book. As the saying goes, teamwork makes the dream work. Bees work towards what is best for the collective at all times, working together in harmony, each member of the group acting in interest of the world. Building community and get, build community and get support from your friends to solve the problems you face. You don't always have to do it alone. This card is a sign of hard work put in by many to achieve a common goal. Become more involved in your community or make an effort to build a team in your work. Bees teach us that you don't have to take on every role because everyone has their part to play and their unique talents and skills to offer. Invest time in strengthening your network and be open to working with others. Being a part of something bigger than you can be extremely rewarding. There is nothing sweeter than gaining a support system that is willing to put in the work and has your best interest at heart. Additional meanings: create collaboration, be a team player, recognition and reward, time to come out of your shell, a period of aloneness, improve your skill set, financial growth from collaboration. So these are all of the things that may be a part of the energy for your week. Let's pull one more card from this deck and see if there's any more energy that we need to get into. Dice. I haven't seen this card yet. I went through this deck like kind of quickly. I just got it today. But this is cute. Dice. Okay, so just the energy, like it says dice chances. So there may be some opportunities to gamble this week, to take a chance on something, to take a leap, to believe in yourself, to believe in your luck or your power to make something happen. You may literally be going to gamble this week. Like there may be like some sports betting, casino type energy this week. um and I like the dice, putting the dice in the car. I feel like it's just like putting your mark, similar to the flamingo. We had like the pink flamingo in pile one. It feels like kind of putting your mark, being unique. So there's like this uniqueness in the energy of this week and how you do things specifically, because we have the chance with that. So let's get into what the book has to say about the chance card. Sometimes it's necessary to take a chance, and other times the risk is not necessarily worth the reward. The dice represent taking the risk, whether it be a calculated one or one taken out of necessity. There may be many unknowns right now, but not doing nothing is not an option. But doing nothing is not an option. Weigh all your options to determine what makes the most sense. If you're unhappy with your current situation in your life and it's not serving you, now may be the time to bet on yourself and walk away. Alternatively, there could be something you've been working on that requires perseverance to see the fruits of your labor. This card encourages you to take chances in a way that fulfills your ultimate desires. It also asks the questions: what risks are you willing to take? You'll never know what will happen if you roll the dice until you do. Additional meanings: take a risk on something you've been considering. Beware of impulse making decisions. Make a choice. Seek answers from within. So makes sense to me. We also there's like the rear view here, and you can't see anything in the rear view. So part of being able, I feel like, to take the chance or to take the risk or whatever it is to not think about necessarily what's happened before, if it's going to impact you negatively. If you're going to think about what happened before and it's in a way that is able to like help you with the knowledge that you need, or help you to take the risk or to make a better more calculated, like, thoughtful risk, then do that. But if it's going to hinder you and the energy of the things that you need to do this week, then, don't put the rear view, put the past in your rear view, don't look at it, kind of thing. We're looking forward. Okay. So let's get some charms to see some more specific things that may happen this week. And I may pull a few cards. So starting with the charm that you already have for this week, we have the Leo charm. So specific things that may happen this week in dealing with Leo energy. It feels like there may be, because we have that community aspect this week, it may be that you're at an event this week and that's where you have the community aspect. It may be that you have some kind of like party or a get together, a reunion, or something like that that happens this week, or that may have already happened this week. I know it was just Labor Day, so it may have been like a cookout or something like that. We also have the energy this week where you may be in a leadership position, because Leos are usually, or sometimes in cases, in leadership positions or positions of being the front runners and things. So it may also be something where you're the front runner in something, or people are looking to you to take the lead on some action or take advice from you in some way. We talk about that a little bit in pile one as well. If you were drawn to pile one, you may want to watch that one. We have confidence in Leo, and the idea of your self-worth and knowing yourself, and so that may come into play specifically for you this week. Leo also can be a little bit ego-based and self-driven, so there may be energy this week where you're supposed to specifically do for yourself, or build yourself up in a way, or pay attention to where you may not be, um, where you may be being too selfish in some instances, as well as the idea that sometimes Leo can be too bombastic. And so we don't want to also, if we're in situations this week where we are in spaces of getting recognition or rewards, we don't want to be too like pompous, or like look what I got, da, 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 energy about whatever it is, and the only other thing that comes into me with this is that, like, be mindful of your anger, because sometimes Leos can pop the fuck off. So yeah. Okay, let's get a few more charms to see some more of the things that may specifically happen this week. And I apologize, the charms are loud, y'all. All right. We're going to put this one to the side for right now. Okay. So we have a mermaid charm. We have our Leo charm. And then we have the happy birthday. So like I said, it definitely feels like specific things that may happen. People may be going to events this week. People may have things where you're going, like I said, either to parties or to events or to gatherings. There may be celebrations, there may be rewards. And this week, we had the community aspect. So we may be getting together for somebody specific, because we had the Leo charm as well. Or like a specific thing that the community is recognizing that we've all done, or something like that. Sorry, y'all. That may be part of what specifically comes up this week. We have this mermaid, and so it feels like specific things that may happen this week in terms of the mermaid is that, like, there may be things that we have the mermaid charm, so there's ways in which you may be like diving into the unknown this week, or looking into things that somebody else may not have seen first, that you're finding, that you're able to bring out. There's aspects of it that feel like there may be magic in your week this week. Like there may be like little instances of magic that you have in your week this week as well. And then the Little Mermaid is also part of what comes up in here for me. So it feels like some of the things that may come up this week may have you thinking about more, or like what you want, or what you like, dreaming about your future, and like the way the Little Mermaid did, like dreaming about the living on the land, and dreaming about having legs as part of like what she was thinking about for her future. And it just feels like there's this aspect of you that's like kind of starts dreaming or hoping or thinking about that more, in terms of like a more Neptunian, what could be kind of way, than the taking the chance on yourself and your dreams kind of energy. And that we talk about this in the September collective reading that I have out. I just put it out a couple days ago. And we kind of talk about this energy of us looking into thinking about the future and how that comes up this month. And so because it comes up with you this week, I definitely think you should listen to the monthly reading if you haven't already. Okay, then the last charm we have is this crystal charm. And for me, the crystal charm just has to do with this specific crystal, with being resilient, with tapping into specific energies. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Specifically tapping into your clairvoyance this week, your intuitive energy, tapping into spiritual help that you may need this week. um, paying attention to things that are spiritually divine. Like it feels like things will be divinely led this week, or you'll have divine encounters. That's part of where the chance comes in. Things will be like divinely worked out for you. And I feel like it's just like these little instances to pay attention to, similar to the mermaid card and the little like bits of magic that you may have this week. So these are the things I get specifically for what may happen. Let's pull a few cards to see any other things that may specifically happen for us in pile 2 for this week. Music. Oh, I didn't shuffle. Let me shuffle. Personal growth. Okay, so we have music and personal growth. So two things. I feel like number one, specific things that may happen. We may want to utilize music this week. So, like I said, there's a lot of event party energy with the communion. You may not be going to a party, but it may feel like a party. So it may be a specific thing where you like when you get together with people, y'all are like playing music that y'all used to listen to, or you're vibing out over music, or you're, like I said, at a party having a good time and you're just feeling that energy, right? It's like it feels like it takes you to a different space. It feels like the music is like imbuing you with a certain type of energy, you know? So this is something specific to pay attention to this week. Also, in the music that you're listening to this week, I know it's been a lot of talk on TikTok about people listening to classical music to have their thought process be clear and things like that. But like this week, music is very important in terms of what you're listening to. So just figure out the energy that you really want to imbue yourself with and like you want to embody, and then make sure the music that you listen to this week is in tune with whatever you want that to feel like. Then we have personal growth. So, like I said, there's ways in which we're thinking about the future this week. We're thinking about what we want in terms of um, what we could have. And I feel like the personal growth comes with that because whatever happens this week specifically will show you how far you've come. And that will allow you to be able to think more deeply about like what you could want in the future, or what that could look like for you in terms of where you are now. Okay. And where you're going, even if you don't feel like you're there now. You've already recognized enough to realize that you're making waves there if you're not already in a space, right? But there's definite movement and growth from where you've been to where you are now, even if you don't see it. So this is part of what I feel like allows you to be able to think in the future terms. And I think that there will be specific instances that show you just how much you have grown this week. So this is what I get for specifics. Our last card we're going to get is our magic for the week. I'm using the Earthcraft Oracle, and this deck has a ritual or a spell or like magic working that goes with each card. So I thought it'd be really good to just give us a little bit of magic for our week. And your pile already had a little bit of magic in it. So I feel like it just aligns perfectly. So let's get the shift. Okay. The shift is your card, and let's get your magic. Okay. Candle of Clarity Ritual. Ingredients: citrine crystal, yellow candle, eucalyptus oil. The day before this ritual, place the citrine crystal on the windowsill or somewhere it can take up sunlight for a day. Put it away before the moon rises. Now the crystal has the energy of the sun to shine more light on a situation or question. To begin, rub the outside of the candle, symbolizing clarity, with a drop of eucalyptus oil. If the candle is in a glass, just add a drop to the top. One drop is enough. Light the yellow candle. Next, circle the citrine crystal 3 times over the flame. Place it next to the candle. Sit in silence with the candle in front of you and do a series of 10 deep breaths, followed by gentle breathing for 5 minutes. Consider the different roads ahead and ask yourself what direction you feel most connected to at this moment. Envision what it would look like to follow that road and what steps you need to take moving forward. And I think that's a perfect ritual for part of what we were talking about with the personal growth and thinking about your future. And especially if you're somebody who is thinking about taking a chance or, taking a risk on something and you need a little bit more clarity so that it can be a more calculated risk. So, this was your ritual. Let me put it back up for a second so you can take a picture if you would like to. All right, this was y'all reading for the week pile 2. Let me know what you think about this reading. Let me know how this week is treating you. If you do your ritual, please let me know how the working went for you, what you feel, things like that. If you have another pile, I will see you there. If not, thank you so much for reading with me. Thank you so much for letting me break down your week, and I will see you in the next reading. Welcome in pile 3 to your week ahead reading. Let's break down the cards and see what y'all got going on. So, the charm that you have is the ballerina slippers. This relates more to the specific things happening for you this week. So we're going to put that aside and get into that in a second. So the card you have for the energy of your week is succulence, resilience. For the energy of your week, we're using the Signs of the Times Oracle. I just got this deck. So we're going to use the book to get into what the card means, but I'm just going to give you a little bit of my first thoughts. So succulents and resilience. Succulents are usually like cacti kind of plants. They're very hard on the outside. They store water. They're beautiful, but they can like last through whatever's going on. So you may have a week where you just have to power through whatever the fuck is going on. The energy of your week is about keeping your head up. The energy of your week is about keeping yourself going. The energy of your week is about keeping yourself fed or, fueled in whatever way you need to be fueled to be able to keep going, and to power through, and it feels like fortify yourself, right? It may be like you against the world in some aspects this week. And so there's ways in which it feels like you have to just like make sure you're taking care of yourself and feeding into yourself. So let's see specifically what the card says. What the book says about this card. Mainly recognized as a common houseplant, succulents are known for thriving in difficult conditions. They store water in their leaves, stems, and roots, which allows them to thrive long after they have been tended. This card represents the long-term planning, tenacity, and endurance it takes to develop resilience. Take advantage of your own inner reserves of mental and physical resilience in challenging times to remain calm and collected in the face of crisis and confusion. When you tap into the reserves, you're gaining valuable skills and learning important lessons about your limits. This is also the energy of longevity and wanting something long lasting. Set your intentions with your career, relationship, or situation that you'd like to see in the long run. Keep striving for what has been placed in your heart. Stay, I think that's supposed to say healed. Healthy. Stay healthy by watering yourself with love and care. Despite everything you have endured thus far, you continue to bloom. Additional meanings: enduring love, discovering your inner strength. Good fortune is coming your way. Current endeavors will be long lasting. Growth sparked by adversity, receiving a gift, making future plans. So that's the energy that we have with the succulent cards. I feel like there's reminiscent of some of the things I said. It makes sense to me in terms of there being things that we want to think about long term. We talk about this a lot in our monthly reading on Substack for September. I'm going to put the link below, so definitely go listen to that if you haven't already. Let's pull one more card to see if there's any more energy from this deck, or any more energy in general, I should say, for your week that we need to get into. Oh, cute. Smiley face. Okay, so the energy just off the bat, even though we have this resilience energy and this perseverance, I feel like part of it is about keeping your joy, right? Keeping yourself in a space of happiness, keeping yourself in a space of fun and flow and keeping your mind positive. If the happy or smiley faces on her nails feel like a reminder, you know what I mean? Like when things may be getting too tough, or when you may be feeling like you need a little bit of a boost or a pick me up. It's a way in which there's this energy this week that comes back in to remind you of like what you're doing things for, or that this is not, whatever may be tough is not all that it is, or something like that. So it feels like that's a good balance to me of the energy that we have in the succulents card. Let's see what the book says about the joy card. Smile. Happiness is yours for the taking. You do not have to wait for a specific event or person to bring joy. You have the ability to choose happiness and create your own blissful moments. Immerse yourself in all the things that light you up. Explore new hobbies, do things you enjoy, and accept yourself as you are. When this card appears, it's letting you know that it's okay to center yourself. The smiley face is a symbol of fun, childlike energy and encourages you not to take things so seriously, excuse me. Release stress to regain the ability to appreciate and enjoy the little things. Your vibration is increasing, so you may become more aware of pessimistic and low vibrational behaviors, whether that's from you or other people. Okay. Don't let anyone steal your joy. That includes you. Express gratitude and let happiness come to you as naturally as a smile. And sometimes I love the idea that like you have to smile until you're happy, because sometimes you got to push yourself to like get into a lighter space. Additional meanings: stop comparing yourself to others, prioritize happiness, better days are here, release worry, choose to be happy, cultivate your own joy. So these are the cards we have for the energy of your week. Let's get some charms and a few cards for more specific things that may happen. So we'll pull some charms to get more specific energies for your week, but starting with the charm that you picked. So you have the ballerina slippers. In terms of specific things that may happen this week, it feels like we're dancing through this week. We may have a lot of things to do, similar to pile one. It feels like ballerinas definitely work hard, and it feels like you, with the resilience card and the ballerina shoes, you definitely may have a lot to do, whether it's like something that's very taxing on you, whether it's on your body, taxing on your brain. You may have, excuse me, something where you're kind of like trying to move through a heavy schedule. And so you're kind of like, um, it feels like dancing through whatever you may have to do this week. It also feels like the ballerina shoes bring in the lightness in a sense. So that may be part of that fun energy that we had with the joy card coming in. You may start dance class this week. You may have a child that starts dance class this week, or the not just dance class, but like some kind of communal activity, like a team thing, or like after school activities, or you may be starting some kind of activity, whether it's like working out or something extracurricular, it feels like. So let's get a few more charms to see some more specific things that may happen this week. And I apologize, y'all know these are loud. Okay. So we have the angels are watching charm. Angels watching over me. We have the sacred heart, the heart with the arrow and the cross at the top. And then we have the mirror. So, specific things we have going on this week. With the angel and the sacred heart together, it feels like prayer. Number one, it feels like there are instances where you may feel like you need to pray this week, or you're praying to get yourself through things. It feels like a need for higher guidance or like higher divine support. This is validation that you have that higher guidance and support that you can call on. And this feels like the action of like actually calling on it or utilizing it. So there's ways in which we need to utilize whatever that looks like in terms of spiritual practice, or in terms of your spiritual beliefs and how you utilize them on a daily basis. That may be part of what happens this week. It may be something specifically about like going to church, or being a part of something that has to do with, like I said, your spiritual beliefs. And that may come up this week, or that you are getting more deeply into prayer or spiritual practices, or reading about your spiritual beliefs, or getting um, like advice about spiritual beliefs or something like that. Then we have the mirror charm. So I feel like specific things that may happen this week are things that force you to look at yourself, force you to look at how you show up and how you're moving through things. There may be aspects of this week that have to do with your physical appearance, and like either there may be parts of you that feel like you don't like how you look this week, or there may be parts of you that want to change aspects of how you look this week. There also may be something specific about your beauty routine. I don't know why I was about to say broody. About your beauty routine that you are implementing this week as well. So yeah, I feel like this is, oh, and affirmations also comes up. So that comes in to me with the spiritual practices and the resilience, and adding in the joy. If there's affirmations that you do, or you want to start, or you want to get back into, this is a good week to do it. Okay, so let's pull a few cards and see if there are any other specific things that may come up for us for pile 3 for this week. Boom. Okay. Intuition. So I feel like I said, with the spiritual aspects of it, there are specific instances where we will need to utilize our intuition. So that means the way that things feel to you in your gut, how they show up in terms of maybe hearing a voice very clearly that's not necessarily, doesn't sound necessarily the same as your own, or that's much more sure than your own, receiving that higher mind guidance, receiving that connection with your higher self to help you make decisions or help you to move throughout this week. And there are specific instances where this will come up, where moments either will come up where you help yourself in a way, or you help someone else in a way, and it's very clear to you that like your powers are working, or like you have powers. You know what I mean? Is what it feels like. There's like very clear intuitive moments that will happen to you this week, and they want you to pay attention to that, right? And part of why they want you to pay attention to that is because we have these spiritual aspects, because you have these angels coming in and watching over you, because you have the validation of them telling you in terms of your spiritual team that like, we're here, we're helping. You may ask for help and then receive it, and then see the connection in that. So it feels like that's part of why intuition comes in for the specific things we have happening this week. So the last part of our reading is to get a magic working for this week. I'm using the Earthcraft Oracle for that. I really just wanted to bring in a little bit of magic. We had the start of the month, and I just felt like it would be really cool to bring in a little bit of spell work or ritual work. So I'm going to pull a card, and we'll see what the working is that resonates for our week. Okay, we have offerings. I love this. It's a beautiful card. So let's get into the ritual from the offerings card. Sound offering. To use sound as offering is to give from within. Sound carries the essence of our spirit and the intentions we set from the heart through song or deep belly sounds. Sit or stand with your arms by your side, palms facing forward. Close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. In through the mouth and out through the nose. As you breathe, envision inhaling light and exhaling darkness. After your 3rd deep breath, you are now ready to send out your sound offering, infusing it with light. It can be a song, a hum, grunts, or a heavy sigh. Any sound offered up with intention is sacred. As you vocalize, see the light filling the space, person, or intention you are offering it to. And I think that this is an excellent exercise with the energy that we have from the resilience in terms of like the things that we're kind of moving through this week, and in the spiritual sense that we have that connection of allowing our physical body to give offering to the energetics of what we have helping us, what we have surrounding us, how we're building ourselves energetically with the joy. So it just to me feels very all encompassing and very aligned with like the cards that, and the charms that we had for this week. So if you do this ritual, definitely let me know how it goes, what you think about the ritual, how you felt about the reading, how your week is going. Thank you so much for allowing me to read with you. Definitely check out our monthly reading. As I said, the link is below. And thank y'all again for reading with me. I will see you in the next reading.